Hello, welcome back to Domingo Play. My name is Wilkoman and this is episode 4 of Wilkoman Domingo Plays Kerbal Space Program. If you watched the last episode, then you might remember that we started the science on the 0.22 update. We're carrying on with that, obviously, in the career mode. Although I have noticed whilst recording some raw video last night that I'm now playing on the 0.23 version, which has a couple of new features to it. I want to play with those as soon as I can, so I'm going to try and catch up to that point as quickly as I can, and that just means that I have to produce my previously edited video faster than I was originally planning to do. But that's not my that's my problem. It's not yours. So let's just get back to playing. Now, if you recall, the previous episode left us with 93 science stored in the bank, the Sci Bank, if you will. So, looking around the R&D department, I decided to buy flight control because I like to play around with space planes. Although I'm not very good at it, you might see something soon. Who knows? And also advanced rocketry we'll take because we need bigger fireworks to light under green arses. Let's face it. Now I want to show you the astronaut complex. You will notice that Jeb's there. He's not lost. He isn't assigned anywhere. He's available. As I predicted, he's back from the dead. But I did actually Google it. To not Google is very lazy, and I discovered it's fairly well known that the dudes in the orange suits actually respawn anywhere, which is good because they're no longer on active duty. They have volunteered their expendable lives now to the cause of speed. Yes, that's right. The Kerbal Speed Trials will be coming to a Domingo Play channel near you soon. This is going to be a side series of short videos that will run on the channel. It's the job now of Jeb, Bill and Bob to strap themselves into rocket-powered cars and jet-propelled shopping carts and propel themselves down the runway outside of the spaceplane hangar as fast as they can to see who can get the highest speed as they cross the kind of finish line at the end. It's hopefully going to be a regular update. I've already got a few episodes lined up. Now these guys, obviously, if they win, they die most likely in an accident. If they fail, they definitely die. So they're willing to put their lives on the line, and hopefully you'll be entertained by watching them squish their green faces all over the tarmac. Excellent stuff. This is a little ship I've put together called Wanderer Mark 1. We're going to the moon with Seymour. We had to persuade the ship slightly because the first time we asked it if it wanted to go to the moon, it kind of just started to shrug its shoulders a bit and then it bailed, and it wasn't really very happy with the flight plan at all. Now I am playing in a kind of if they die kind of way. Obviously it's a bit different with the three guys in the orange because they keep respawning, but people like Seymour, if they get themselves into a situation like this, they have to demonstrate I have to make them demonstrate that they can get down to the ground safely before I start reverting anything, or I think he actually lands safely here, and I seem to remember getting a bit of science, though not that I could remember what for. Excellent stuff. Possibly just that we flew like a dick. Yeah, look at that. 23 signs for flying like a cock. Keep that one in mind. That'll be that's a Domingo Play tip. Always fly it like you stole it, and you'll get more science. We don't have enough for anything in the vehicle assembly building. The R&D department. So we go back to the vehicle assembly. No changes to the Wanderer. Just try and steal a little bit of science, but in all honesty, we don't really get very much at all. So we'll just relaunch the Wanderer. Now this time around, Seymour's still on board. It's his mission. This time around, we're just going to kind of keep the throttle down a bit so that separator in the middle there doesn't kind of compress and fall apart. Which makes this one little change makes this a much more uneventful launch. We do the usual of getting to about 10,000 meters or so ish. Turning for a gravity burn and setting up an orbit. Once we set up an orbit, we set up a simple injection to the moon's gravity, and that is where we'll meet in a couple of seconds' time through the magic of video editing, cutting out all the boring bits on the way. Hello, we're back, and we are in the warm embrace of the Moon. Just a very standard landing here. Turn retrograde and use that main engine to burn off as much horizontal or lateral velocity, however you want to call it. It's one of the engines from the Kerbal rocketry pack. It's got a reasonable amount of thrust, I think 120 on thrust, and it's fairly fuel efficient. It pretty much outperforms these three engines that I have around the outside, but I kind of feel obligated to use them sometimes, just because it makes it easy to stick legs above them and turn them into, you know, part of the landing struts that you can just ditch on the moon and leave behind when you want to go home, which clearly is not going to happen for Seymour, because Seymour has nowhere near enough fuel to even get past anything other than a suborbital trajectory from the Moon, I would say. So he's definitely not going home. He's still quite excited about the whole situation though, so he pops out for a little bit of a stroll around. What we'll do here is we'll collect some surface samples and his EVA report, just to transmit back as much as the batteries will allow, because we don't actually have solar panels on this one yet, as we haven't unlocked those in the tech tree. Now if anyone down there on Kerbal can read English, then they'll obviously be able to see through the medium of some crazy telescope that he's putting basically an SOS flag there, and they'll obviously send a rescue mission. Either that, or they might just leave him there until some entrepreneurial Kerbal sets up a taxi service and brings him home for a small fee. But we might see that in a later episode, perhaps. Who knows? For now, though, we're content just to burn off the last of the fuel to make a little bit of electric charge, send back as much science as we can, and we'll just leave Seymour on the Moon until something happens in terms of bringing him home. Fortunately, Seymour has brought back about 200, there's a total of 275 science, so now I don't feel quite so bad about leaving him up there in his tent until he manages to somehow get home. I will take from this general construction, because it comes in handy, electrics, because I liked the coloured lights from I think it's the B9 aerospace pack, and solar panels are always good, and also the aerodynamics as well, because I like to play with planes, and one day I might show you how bad I am at it. We'll head back to the VAB. We're just going to make some KW rocketry flavoured improvements to the ship in terms of engines and fuel tanks, and we will set off immediately back to the Moon. Bill there piloting bravely, taking a similar approach to Seymour, but seemingly unable to lose the engine and the fuel tank that he's already decoupled. They appear to be, there you go, they were either going to drag him down, or they'd have run out of fuel before he got to the ground, surely. We stick on a few more mods for power on the ship, in terms of solar paneling, because that will enable us to do a lot more science. We got that with the electrics pack that we've just unlocked in the R&D department, and we'll just do a nice tiling job. It's almost like doing your bathroom, not quite as tedious though, strangely. And we'll just kind of we'll start off again. No, I want to go to the astronaut complex and pick somebody, because we're not sending the guys in the orange suits. Who we got? Merzen, Edbert, Lohat. Yeah, Lohat's a nice name. We'll take Lohat. We're not sending the guys in the orange suits because they're busy with the Kerbal speed trials, and that's why Jeb is currently missing. Because I think he's dead again, but he'll come back. Don't worry about it. So yeah, we'll just we'll stick Lohat Kerman in a slightly updated version of the Wanderer. He takes a nice, smooth, almost smooth ascent up into orbit. usual gravity turn around 10,000 or so. It really is an incredibly uneventful flight to the Mun, so I will just see you there. And we're back. God, this chair's uncomfortable. But we are here to land on the Mun and spam a lot more science than poor old Seymour was able to do. Mainly due to the fact that Lohat has some solar panels on the side of his craft, as we can clearly see here. So all he has to do is sit around in the sun, his batteries will charge, and we can transmit as much as we like. And I do intend fully to spam that quite hard once we get to the surface of the Mun. Don't you just love video editing? It's like the world of tomorrow. Either way, we're just coming down to kind of tickle the surface of the Moon. It was a fairly uneventful flight and a pretty uneventful landing to the Moon's surface. Although the fuel situation does seem far more promising this time out. I'm pretty darn sure we'll be able to get Lohat home. After he's served his purpose on the surface. There he is, just gently kissing the surface of the Mun with his craft. Lohat is here to take as much science as possible because he has batteries and solar panels. Now, I wouldn't ordinarily do this, but I have to say the music in Kerbal Space Program is pretty good already, but when I run it through Movie Maker and it's speeded up by 4 times, it really makes this sound pretty dramatic. Listen to this. Da-da-da. Yeah, I know. Didn't he just look, like when he was floating around in the RCS pack, didn't he just look like a really busy little bumblebee, kind of like just badgering away at the flowers there. Loved it. So, anyway, Lohat's off home. Yeah, check out that music. He's going to get back to Kerbal. Nice and safely. We get some reasonable fire effects on the way in. And that kind of noise it'll be making, that sort of thing. And when he gets past all of that, we'll just use the last of his fuel just to burn off what little velocity we can. After which, when the tanks are empty, Lohat can just ditch the lower part of the body, and that'll float away nicely, allowing Lohat to fire his parachutes. Thank you, Lohat. Obviously, this brings Lohat down safely to the parent cabin, and you will notice that we have a total of 623 science banked, which we will be spending in episode 5, which is coming soon. And then in episode 6 we have the 0.23 update, hence why I want to finish editing episode 5 a little quicker, kind of a catch up. Okay, so subscribe if you like what you see. We'll be back soon with more Gameage on Domingo Play very shortly. Thanks very much and goodbye. It's the Kerbal Space Penis.